on Hayes again. He gave ground, got his own rebound, put it up and out, tipped it again. Kuminga one more time.
Hey guys. Are we sure this kid is just 19 years old? I mean, is it physically possible to manhandle an entire NBA team like that when you're just 19? Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Myers is an absolute genius and probably deserves another GM of the Year award. This dude is the real-life version of Nick Fury. You know, the guy who assembled the Avengers? I mean, the Warriors GM orchestrated a trade that dealt away D'Angelo Russell for both Andrew Wiggins, who should be an all-star this year, and a top 3 protected pick, which turned into Jonathan Kuminga, who, is transforming into a monster right before our very eyes. I mean, check this out to see what I mean. Here's Kuminga with the ball. He's about to give us a glimpse of what the word dangerous really means on the basketball court. In case y'all missed exactly what happens, let's take a look again. First, he does an inside-out dribble to fake out Middleton. Next, when Bobby Portis swipes for the ball, Kuminga crosses him up so hard that Portis ends up on the deck. And then to cap it off, he jumps from like 8 feet away from the basket and does an emphatic two-handed slam. Oh, and by the way, this defender here, well, he didn't want any of that smoke. Oh my goodness, guys. How unfair is it that the Golden State Warriors, who still have the Splash Brothers, were able to acquire this guy at number 7? I mean, in addition to the marksmanship of both Steph and Clay, they now have a mini Giannis running around on the floor who loves to play above the rim.
3 assists on 3 field goals.
Kuminga has it in the lane.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that Jonathan Kuminga has some pretty beast-like strength and athleticism. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'd probably say he's already in the top 10 when it comes to just pure athleticism. For example, Zach LaVine is probably one of the most athletic dudes currently in the league, especially when it comes to the open court and running in transition. So let's take a look at these two and make a comparison.
There's a steal. Kuminga ahead of the back, goes up and throws it.
Sheesh, guys. Maybe the Warriors ought to sign this guy into the next dunk contest. Just as long as D. Wade isn't the judge again. I'm just kidding. Anyway, the truth is this kid's development so far is just at the tip of the iceberg. As he gets better and better within a championship organization like the Warriors, it's scary to think what Dub Nation can become. I mean, here's what Steve Kerr said recently about him. When you think about where Giannis is now and you think about him as a rookie, you got to think about JK. Not much understanding of the NBA, not much understanding of what's going on yet, but that's exactly where Giannis was a decade ago. Steve Kerr is both right and wrong, guys, because truth be told, Kuminga is actually looking better than Giannis did when the Greek Freak was just a rookie. Giannis's rookie high was only 16 points. Kuminga, on the other hand, already has a 25 and a 26-point game under his belt. Just imagine if JK becomes capable of doing things like this in the near future.
Tristan Thompson and Varejao plays very well with his short spin, and once again
Man, if Kuminga starts doing that, how are teams going to plan for the Warriors? I mean, first, you've got the Splash Brothers to worry about, and then you got Wiggins, you got Poole, and then you got a guy who can power himself to the rim? Anyway, in recent games, one of the huge developments for Kuminga was his decision-making skills. Earlier in the season, he looked a bit lost at times and took unnecessary jumpers, but now it seems like Kuminga is starting to understand how to efficiently impact the game, which pretty much translates into attacking the rim.
Sixers. Kuminga. Yeah.
you have to know what he wants.
Out. Kuminga goes inside and the finish. Kuminga goes inside.
He doesn't always finish at the rim, but in most cases when he doesn't, he does get to the line. Unfortunately, at the moment, he's not exactly the best free throw shooter, but at the same time, he is getting better. I mean, ever since that loss against Denver, where he went 3 for 10 from the charity stripe, he's been shooting it decently, 75% so far for the month of January. Here's what Kuminga said about himself and the learning opportunities he has with the Warriors. I feel this is the greatest situation for me. Even when I don't play, there is something I learn. When I'm doing something wrong, I always got Draymond, Andre, Steph, Anybody that's older than me or more experienced than me coming up to me and saying, I need to do this to get better. Because if I went to a team where I had to shoot every type of ball, every movement, I wasn't going to really learn. Well, it sure does look like Kuminga is making the most of the Warriors culture. But anyway, because of his size and athleticism, as he gets smarter with understanding when to cut, he's going to be extremely difficult to stop. Here, let me show you what I mean. Here's Kuminga up top by the sideline. He's about to fake a screen for Chiozza, but when the opportunity arises, he cuts to the basket like a beast.
Much better.
And that's all she wrote. Moving on here. One of his major weaknesses currently is his ability to hit outside shots. He doesn't need to take any of those difficult off-the-dribble threes like what Steph does or any of the quick release shots that Clay takes, but wide open threes are the ones he needs to start knocking down. Currently, opponents are okay with him taking long distance shots because, quite honestly, by playing the percentages, they'd rather have him take a low percentage three than attack the rim where he has a high percentage of either finishing the play or getting to the free throw line for two. The troubling news that other teams got to realize though is Kuminga is starting to hit his outside shots.
Kuminga launches a three. What a pass. Kuminga a three.
Fastest team in the NBA, and his play, his leadership.
Kicking out, distributing the other guys. Kuminga three. Got it.
Sheesh, guys. He doesn't take too many of them, but he is starting to channel his inner Splash brother. I mean, for the whole month of December, he averaged 41.2% from beyond the arc. If he could start knocking down these types of open shots at about 36 to 38% on a consistent basis, then by the time the playoffs start, the Warriors will be practically unbeatable. Because just look, by then, teams are going to have to start closing out on him, which is going to leave either a wide open lane to the rim or a kick out to either an open shooter or a cutter, just like in this example. Here's Kuminga. His defender is guarding him tightly enough to affect his shot, so instead, Kuminga decides to put the ball on the floor.
In terms of what he can do for a player's career.
When he sees the double team coming, he dishes it out to Bielitsa, who cuts to the basket and gets one of the easiest buckets of the night. Lastly, let's check out what kind of monster this kid is on the defensive end of the court. Here's the attacker running in transition, and here's Kuminga tracking him down.
Leading teams in the NBA, when you total up their mileage once.
Oh my goodness, guys. Let's take a look at that block from a different angle.
This block right here. Wow.
Dang, guys. His hands are at like the top of the backboard box, and his elbows are at rim level. Give it a few more games, and I feel like he'll make a two-handed swat like how Morant did a little while back. Anyway, on to the next play here. This Kuminga kid doesn't let anyone get anything easy. I mean,
McKinney gets inside.
Anyway, whether it's on offense or defense, Jonathan Kuminga is becoming more and more of a beast on the court. Steve Kerr should start thinking about giving him more minutes because if he can start knocking down open threes, if he can make the right decisions, whether it's on the ball or off the ball, and if he can continue playing hard on defense, think of how much he can contribute once the playoffs arrive. From the MVP's mouth himself, here's what Steph had to say about Kuminga recently. His game is interesting because you can kind of throw him out there with any lineup, and for the most part, he can do what he does. It's just effort and intensity at the end of the day for him. He's so athletic, he has unbelievable upside for what he does well, and it comes and shines when he is playing hard. Anyway, guys, with Jonathan Kuminga starting to find his groove, and with Klay Thompson making his return, all the Warriors need now is for Steph to come out of a shooting slump. But have y'all ever wondered why or how he's slumping in the first place? Well, I wondered that as well a little while back, which is why I created this video right here. There's more than meets the eye here, guys, and I'm sure you'll love this video and find it very informative. So go ahead, click it, and like always, I'll see you on the other side.